What era is the best era of professional wrestling? That's a conversation that's been going on a lot lately, and it's rightfully happening now because we are living through an incredible era of pro wrestling. Teshk, my brother, let's get into this thing. What do you think about WWE as a whole right now, and what, in your opinion, is the greatest era of pro wrestling?
First off, Con, I'm going to say welcome everybody to Street Shoot. We have missed you, and we are doing more and more videos this week running into WrestleMania. Con, to answer your question, greatest era of professional wrestling, I am on a cliff and on knife's edge on this one, because if you had asked me 6 months ago, my hands down answer is the Attitude Era. Nothing beats it. I will die on my sword as nothing would have beaten the Attitude Era 6 months ago. But we are in such a new revolution, a renaissance, a breath of fresh air. It's almost like winter has gone, everything has thawed, and the flowers and the fresh air has come out, and we are getting F-bombs, we are getting blood, we are getting aggressive matches in the mid-card.
And we're still getting Canadian destroyers.
Yeah, we are still getting Canadian destroyers. Guys over in AEW, you only need one a night. Just saying, you only need one a night. But yeah, no, 6 months ago, I would have said the Attitude Era, but now I have no idea. What about you?
Oh, dude, like for me, so I've started watching wrestling all the way back in 2005. So I didn't live through the Attitude Era live. I didn't live through a good portion of the Ruthless Aggression era. Like, I caught the tail end, but when you're just starting to become a wrestling fan, you're not in it, right? It wasn't until 2008 that I was truly in it. So for me, I've never experienced anything live like what we're living through now. For me, I am as hooked as ever as a wrestling fan. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop watching videos about it. I can't stop talking about it. And it's not just because it's my job. I talk to my friends about it. I talk to Becca about it way too freaking much. It's consuming my life right now because of how good it is. It's always on. And I don't know how else I could say it, but I don't know how anything could be better than what we're living through now. The production alone makes the product so nice to watch. Like Kevin Dunn held this business back 10, 15 years. Like imagine where we could have been without him.
Yeah.
But the production alone, man, it is just so good. But the in-ring quality, like every match is cooking these days. They're getting time in the ring. Now, you can also say, like, when we look at every other era, the women's division, it's not a question. This is easily the best women's division that we have ever seen in WWE.
I couldn't agree
more. The matches are so good. We've got tag titles. There's focus on the mid card. We've got characters like Candice LeRae getting actual character development, taking social media and putting it on our screens. It's so good what we're watching. So for me, the best era that has ever happened in pro wrestling is this one that we're living through right now.
I want to touch quickly. I want to go back. You mentioned the production. Now, the cool part about the Attitude Era is that it was gritty. It was raw. It was, I remember a rivalry between the late, great Brian Pillman and Steve Austin. It was one of the original house invasions. We've seen the one with Dom and Ray. We've seen Randy and Triple H and those ones, but I believe the original one was
LA Knight, AJ Styles.
Just forgot about that one. That was recent. LA Knight, AJ Styles, and like that raw footage. But the original, I believe, was Pillman and Austin.
That's the gun segment.
That's
right?
the gun segment. And that was what made the Attitude Era great, is all those segments outside of the arena that were filmed raw. Now you fast forward to this era, and you're getting Bad Bunny's entrance with a drone at Backlash. You're getting the 8K video of the entrances that they're testing out, just focusing on the wrestler as they're coming to the ring. You're getting different angled shots around the ring. I believe there was one a couple of weeks ago at the Royal Rumble where it almost like it was like on a pan right across, and you saw everyone working and then everyone else laying in the back, and it was a really cool shot. So Triple H and the production team are trying new things, but they're so subtle, and if they don't work, It's okay. Another one that I just want to point out is the commentary desk, the cameras on the commentary, the cameras on Samantha Irving. So focusing not just on the 2 people or 4 people in the ring, they're focusing on the show, which is making this amazing.
Having social media also allows you to do that, right? This is before you only got 2 hours of these wrestlers on Monday, right? It would be, you'd be live for 2 hours and that's it. And you have to wait till the next Monday, which is why I do believe the Attitude Era is remembered in such a fond way, because you were left with cliffhangers and you couldn't go watch it on YouTube or watch it on TikTok or discuss it in a Discord chat with your friends. Like you might have had an online message board that you went to, but probably not. Right? You watched the show and that was it until next Monday. Now we get to live in the wrestling world 7 days a week, 24/7 if we want to. And getting all these cameras on these people is a no-brainer, right? Because we're consuming that content. We're watching it, and it's great to see Samantha with her announcement of Bad Bunny. Like, it's a great video to watch her. Bad Bunny! Like, And we're living through such cool periods.
We're seeing a lot of good work from the wrestlers outside of just the shows. I want to put a spotlight on Drew McIntyre. The whole build between Seth and Punk going into WrestleMania this year has been Drew McIntyre's Instagram and TikTok. How vile he is becoming. And I did say this at the end of 2023 that Drew McIntyre was going to be the best heel in the business of 2024. And he's proving that. He's proving what his worth is to WWE and the team at WWE because of the extra work he's putting in on the side. And I find next to probably, actually, I don't think I find anyone else's social media more interesting than Drew McIntyre's at this point. You know,
it's so good. His top level trolls, man. You can't do much better than what Drew is doing on social media. But like, that's part of what makes this era so good, right? Like, I know it's easy to sit here and remember the good old days of the Golden Era and Hulkamania, or it's really easy to remember Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? And to how you felt for those moments, those pops. And like, people are saying like the pops of the Attitude Era don't compare to what we have now. But like, I don't agree with that. Like, if you listen to the show on a weekly basis, the pops are pretty strong. And so you start comparing apples to oranges with all of this. It's a different time, right? You didn't have social media. There wasn't a focus on women's wrestling. It was what it was at the time, and it was really good for its time. But if you were to plug the Attitude Era in today's day and age, I think a lot of people would choose what we got going on now over that.
I think so as well. I think the Attitude Era was an era in the world, though, that needed that escape. As much as people say 90s was a great generation, I agree. I grew up in the 90s. I thought it was cool. I actually saw this I know this is a little off topic, but I saw this video of the last sunset of the 90s, and it was a shot of the New York skyscrapers and all that, and it was the sun going down behind the trade towers, and it was like the last sunset of the 90s, and it's like, wow, the world completely changed going into the 2000s. And I think the 90s is something that needed the Attitude Era. A lot of people did want to go to work and say fuck the boss, and their release was watching Steve Austin beat the crap out of Vince McMahon every other week with a bedpan. You know, like that is what people needed then.
But for every Austin beating Vince McMahon's ass, there is a pepper on a pole match. Like, and I get it. A lot of stuff was done for shock value, and like, that's what Vince Russo was all about at the time. And like, some of it worked, some of it didn't. But like, you can't watch the entire Attitude Era now and be like, man, everything was excellent. A lot of it was rough, you know, certainly week to week TV. I think the pay-per-views had some great matchups, which is what people remember fondly, and they age well. But Raws and SmackDowns, with all of their segments that they tried and all the different characters that they were attempting to get over in different ways, wasn't always the best. And not saying that Tozawa doing a dance like this is much better than Kai and Tai, but You know?
Yeah, no, and I get that. The one thing I will say, the one thing that was really good about the Attitude Era in itself, we did see a lot of title changes on cable television. We didn't have to wait
Yes.
for a massive PLE. The one that comes to mind, and I think it's the biggest one of the Attitude Era, and that's Mick Foley winning the title on Monday Night Raw. And arguably also the loudest pop of all time was Austin's music hitting during that match. And people can argue with me on the comments. That was one of the loudest pops I have ever heard. And you can go on YouTube. In my mind,
it's the defining moment of the Attitude Era.
Exactly. And
that's what the Attitude Era was. Every character out there that mattered. And just that pop. And we might get that this year at WrestleMania, something similar.
It's kind of funny that you bring that up, because we had a segment on Monday Night Raw quite recently where The Rock was absolutely violating Cody Rhodes in front of Pharaoh, that poor dog. But there was a shot, and it was a production truck, and it was John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin with the WWE logo in the middle on this production truck, and they were the only two. Everyone is saying, oh, this is going to be the return of John Cena and Steve Austin at WrestleMania. And that might well be. I saw it differently, though. And hear me out on this quickly. That, for me, was showing the three key eras in professional wrestling. That was showing Austin with the Attitude Era. That was showing John Cena with the Ruthless Aggression Era, and The Rock, who had been involved in both, help carrying the face of the new era in Cody Rhodes and saying, this is what's to come, and this is how I'm going to show you. It brought it all full circle. So as much as people want to say, oh, that was a teaser, cool. If they show up, I'm wrong. But I saw it as all three eras being put together in that segment. Don't get me wrong. No, you thought Cody Rhodes was going over that wall.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. I totally thought he was.
Okay,
yeah,
but
100%.
That brought back all the feelings of the Attitude Era. That brought back the parking lot brawl between Eddie Guerrero and John Cena, which I think is one of the best backstage segments of the Ruthless Aggression Era. But I'm just saying, like, that brought it all together. So I just thought there was a little underlying, Easter egg there, and it was a big Easter egg, but I just feel that was putting it all together to put us into what is finally the staple of this new era. And yes, I think The Rock has been one of the ones to help carry it, but when people say, do we really need The Rock right now? No, because these guys have been doing it for over a year. Over a year and a half.
Although we got to admit, having the final boss coming back has added such a different feel. And they lucked into this. That's the coolest part. Yeah. They lucked into it. They didn't plan for this to be the thing. No. We were so close to getting 6 weeks of Rocky saying, "Your tribal pebbles," or whatever it is that he'd come out and say. But instead, they went the complete opposite direction, and the final boss is one of the best things that WWE's added to their TV in years.
Yeah, and I also think that has a lot to do with where we live in the world now. Like I said, with the Attitude Era, it was a release that we needed as a people. Now, as a people, we have a say in what happens.
I was going to say, it's also a bit of a release, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been held in this PG censored era of BS for so long that, now people are starting to get just a little frustrated with being told what they can and can't say. And The Rock is, again, that guy who is just saying things. I don't know. It works. It works in 2024.
I agree. Coming out of 2.5 years of being locked in our houses, and now we can say, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to say. And again, they were going to give us 6 weeks of Rock and Roman, and the people had their say, and now they're using that as part of the storyline. So it's the world we live in, and it's amazing. Guys, in the comments, do us a favor. What is your say on what is the best era of professional wrestling? We are living through a time, and the one thing I love about the Straight Shoot fans is you are all super opinionated, and we love that. You guys come from different generations. Let us know in the conversation. Start another conversation about why this era is better than this era, and maybe we'll do a secondary backup video to this, because there is a long topic here. Con, where can people find you?
At Conman167, just search in any social media platform and you'll find me.
Guys, and I am MrTeshk. You can find me in all the links down below. Same with Con. And do not forget to click on our next level links to find exclusive content that you will not see on any other platforms. Like always, take care. Be good people.